Collector Strikes Back. We share the same interests as that interest is collecting toys. Bought that one, but it's a long time coming. Dark Toy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another awesome episode of Collector Strikes Back. I'm Manny Maldonado with my co-host filling in today, Mr. Johnny Roque.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
No, it's all good because you know if I'm out of town or if Edwin's out of town, you fill in. You're our dude. So thank you for coming back, brother.
I'm everyone's favorite side character.
You are, and I'm excited today because I actually brought not one but two good friends of ours of the program. My boy Jason Collins and his amazing twin brother. Introduce yourself, please.
David. I'm David. Where am I looking?
Mr. Collins. Now, it's weird. These guys are one of the main reasons I actually they introduced me to Solomon.
Yeah, this is homecoming for us.
It's homecoming.
Yeah.
And now fast forward a year later, because I did your podcast of almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And then now fast forward, you're our guest.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
So how you been, Jason? Everything good?
Everything's good. Staying busy. I'm doing other little side projects here and there, but of course, stand-up comedy is number one. Always.
So, in case you guys don't know, Jason Collins is a very, very funny individual. I've known him for over about 15 years, maybe 15.
More than that, because I met you.
I think in 2009, maybe.
No, I think
Or
it was
8.
sooner than that. We ended up going out to the NoHo Diner after a show that we did at the Ha Ha. And that had to be my first year of stand-up.
And your first year was 2007?
6.
Okay, so I met you around that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a hot minute, and for those of you guys who don't know, please watch this stuff. Now, you just posted something that you have some special on YouTube. Is that correct?
I do have a 1-hour special on YouTube. It was on Amazon, but I moved it over to YouTube. It's called It's Not Me, It's You.
Okay.
It's an hour. I shot it in Nashville. It's a lot of fun, and I have a couple little short, what I call specials that I've done. It's kind of tongue in cheek. I have one that I think it's like 11 minutes long or something, and I called it the best comedy special ever, and then in parentheses, in under 15 minutes. I have a couple of things like that, but I shot another one that hasn't come out yet. I shot one in Toronto. I'm waiting to hear when we're going to release that one, and I'm working on a new one right now too.
Now, when you did my show in Cabo in 2023, you had just finished of doing a special. Was it in Chicago? I'm sorry, you did my show in Cabo, but you did a show.
I shot with 2023.
Yeah.
That was Nashville.
That was Nashville, I think.
Well, that was Nashville. I'm sorry.
Because I can't remember when no, you're right. I shot one in January of 2023 in Toronto.
Oh, in Toronto. Okay.
Yes.
But it was the same director that who was the director that did that again? Because I know he did a couple other specials too as well.
Oh, that was Russell Peters' company.
Oh, Russell Peters' company.
Russell Peters
okay,
and
nice.
his brother Clayton. They shot a series of these half-hour specials. I did one. Brent Morin did one. Willie Barcena did one. Jay Phillips did one.
Nice.
Adam Hunter did one. So he did these series of specials. They flew us out to Toronto, and we shot it in a small venue, which I think stand-up comedy is best in an intimate venue.
I agree too. So something like less, like 200 or less, right? Is that
yep.
that
about
your...
that? It was the new comedy bar, because there's a comedy bar in
That's
Chicago.
right. The Comedy's bar is where you filmed it.
But it's
right.
not that comedy. It's the comedy bar in Toronto. There's only 2 of them.
So they have one in there and then in Nashville too, right? The comedy bar?
Different company though. The comedy bars in the States I don't think Nashville's there anymore, but they have Chicago.
Yes.
They have another one. I can't remember where it is, but yeah, there's a comedy bar here in the States, but there's only 2 in Toronto, and we shot it at the newer location, which is, they call it the Danforth location, but it was a great little club, and not sure when it's coming out yet. You know how a lot of these things work. You could shoot something.
Right. You could shoot something. I feel like a special now is like, it's kind of like a movie. Like you film it now and sometimes it's out 2 years later. Sometimes.
Yeah, I'm 54. I shot that special when I was 37.
Now, David, how many since you're a brother of a very funny and talented comedian,
if you say so.
If you say so. Now, how many times have you guys been around where they mistake you for him?
Countless,
right?
Countless times. And for the first for the first few years of him doing it,
right?
Well, let me say for the first few years of him doing actual shows where they were in full rooms and that kind of thing, it would make me uncomfortable sometimes to where I would not sit in the showrooms. I would only sit in the green room.
So people were like,
Yeah.
"Hey man, aren't you supposed to be in the green room?"
Right.
Or is that you were getting that a lot?
Exactly, because one of the things you learn being a twin is things can quickly just become only about that. And I was really self-conscious of I didn't want this is his thing. He
Right.
takes it very seriously.
He was really
You know,
cool about letting it.
Yeah,
just be
and I
my
didn't want to
thing.
make it about twins. I wanted it to be about him. And then some years later, he was like, "Just go with it." And
Just go with
I
it.
did
Now,
that.
now
I'm
was like,
established enough now.
I started
They all
doing
know.
pictures with people.
Yeah. Oh, I can't. I
You
got,
should fill in.
I got done with the
Fill
show.
it in.
I finished a show at the Ice House one night.
Right.
And I walk out, and David's like in. He's taking pictures with people. Remember, they used to have the park bench out there, and
Yeah,
yeah.
for the
He's taking
remodel.
pictures with people on the park bench, and he's like, "Yeah," like
Yeah.
he's just like, "Yeah." They go, "Can we get a picture?" He used to go, "Well, no, it's not me. It's my brother." And a lot of people thought it was me being an asshole.
Yeah.
Like that's a weird bit that
Yeah,
guy's doing. Just
I
say
kind of
no.
figured that out too.
You
and
know
I
what?
didn't
No,
want-
because I remember one time, you don't remember this. I don't know if you all tried to do a switcheroo on my ass or some shit. One day we were doing a show and I'm like, okay, there's Jason. Let me say, what's up? Jason, what's up, homie? Like, he looked at me like, kind of like all stoic. I'm like, motherfucker, what?
That's the thing, David.
I'm like, dude, I'm like, you're not. And I didn't know you had a brother. I know you had
Right.
a twin. I did not know that. You did not throw me that disclaimer. And I'm like, you know what, Jason, whatever. And I walked away. And then I saw you in the green room. Like, holy, I did a double take. Like, what the hell?
Did this motherfucker do a wardrobe change?
Yeah.
And then you told me, no, Manny, that's my brother. And I was like,
And I would have to
okay.
tell David.
Different
I would say,
personalities, by the
Dave,
way.
you act like you forget we're twins. Because people come up to me and go, "Hey," and instead of right away, because I'll right away go, "Oh, that's my brother." He just looks at him like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, dude.
Now, again, there's been times though where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. Hey, just so you know, I'm not Jason.
Mhm.
And then the person goes, "Yeah, I know." And then I feel like an asshole.
Oh,
You know
well.
what I mean?
But also,
But I've gotten to where I remember one night I was taken, there was a young lady in front of me at the Improv where, in the hallway where the restroom goes to, right outside the showroom there. And she's right up in front of me giving me all these compliments while Jason's right behind her. And so I just, as a joke, I'm like, it's just new stuff I've been working. I really appreciate it though. Thank you.
Now, since you guys are twins, now growing up, you're only like the second pair of twins that I've met in my life, that I know.
We're
Is that-
exotic.
Yeah. Well, so the first ones were girls. Now,
ooh.
so my question is this: like growing up, when was the cutoff age where you're like, you know what, I don't want to wear the same stuff you're wearing?
So we never did.
Oh, you never
our,
did?
Our parents weren't the
Yeah.
type of parents to give us rhyming names. They never dressed us alike.
Think
The
how
only time-
easily I could have been Mason.
Yeah, easily. I could have been Javid. Okay. So the only time when we were little guys, the only time you would ever see us dressed in identical outfits is if one of our aunts or uncles were babysitting us because they thought it was an novel. They thought it was great because we would get a lot of attention
Because you guys are identical twins?
identical, twins. And we're what's called mirror twins, identical mirror twins,
Mm-hmm.
which is even weirder. You know what I mean? Like we have
What, I'm the witch and the wardrobe
the
twins?
mole thing on the opposite side, so it looks like our hairlines are opposite. So when we're looking at each other, it's like we're looking in a mirror.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and
It's like Jason has a slightly better looking reflection.
sure,
Wow.
yeah, but also it's random. When you hear twins run in my family, that's usually fraternal twins.
Right.
When it's an identical twin, it's completely random. We have a big family. We have lots of cousins. We're the only identical twins in the family.
Are there other twins in the family?
No.
But okay.
Way back farther than we could even remember, but we're the only ones.
Generations or something.
Generations.
Yeah.
All right.
So we never dressed alike. However, there were times when I would pick him up, and when we were at our clubbing years,
Mhm.
and I would pick him up, and he would walk out of the house, and we'd be wearing the exact same thing. We would just, without even thinking about it, unconsciously wear the same
What was the name of
outfit.
the twins, dude? From the GI Joe cartoons, was it the Crimson Brothers?
What the?
The cartoon.
twins?
Solomon.
I knew my name was going to come up.
Solomon, can you look that up? The GI Joe twins.
didn't know
Was
there
it
were
the
twins in
was it the
G.I.
Crimson Brothers? If I'm not mistaken, if you want to look that up when you get a chance and pop up those twin pictures, because let's think when we think about twins in cinema.
Mhm.
I mean, I know you know your movies too. When I think of twins, I always think of those fucking girls doing the jump rope in The Shining.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Those
See,
were
I
the
think
first
of
set of
them.
twins.
And then,
And then-
there was the hot twins that were in Grease too.
The hot twins from Grease too.
Yes,
Yeah.
their sister is Katie Siegel, the mom from Married with Children.
And you know who I think
Yeah.
has a twin too? And I know you know your 90s because I've been watching the rewatching 90210
Mhm.
and the girl Tori that used to be girlfriend with Zach on Saved by the Bell. She's on one of those episodes.
Yeah.
I think she has a twin sister too.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, because on one episode of 90210, there was two of that girl.
Well, you know, a lot of celebrities have twins that aren't a celebrity, that aren't even in. Like
They're not in the business.
Rami Malek from.
Oh, he has
that-
his twin.
That he
The one that they
he
did
played
Bohemian
Freddie
Rhapsody?
Mercury. Yeah, he has a twin.
Is it a boy or a girl?
I think it's an identical twin.
Is
they look
that
alike.
right?
Yeah.
Look alike for sure. Yeah.
hmm
Oh yeah, so does Gallagher.
Gallagher had a
He
twin.
had a
Yeah, but his brother was a hack.
And his brother would do his act.
Yeah,
he's
so, hey,
going on
bro.
the road.
But then the
I know Gallagher passed.
No, he passed. I think I don't know if
They
his
both.
brother.
What if
I
he's
don't know.
just-
That's a good
What
question.
if he just showed up? So Gallagher didn't pass.
See, there we go. Those are the Crimson
And he
Brothers.
rolls in on
Those
a
are the
big
Crimson
reel.
Brothers from G.I. Joe. Now, do you guys remember watching the Crimson Brothers?
I don't
on the cartoon.
remember. I remember the cartoon. And I remember being a huge.
So
fan
these
of
dudes,
the toys, but I don't.
these
remember the
dudes were
twins.
really cool because you would hit one and then the other one would feel it.
So like
So-
the Corsican
Well,
brothers.
we all know
Well,
that
the
this
Corsican
these
Brothers are
action
from
figures.
Cheech and Chong movies, right?
well,
No. They played them.
They played them.
It's an
right?
old story, but
See, that's what I'm
played
saying.
them,
I'm so
yeah.
Mexican. I just know him as the fucking
by
Cheech and Chong brothers.
Cheech and Chong played them.
Cheech and
dog.
Chong, right?
They made
forever,
that story up, right?
Yeah.
like that.
Holy shit! Look how much they're selling for that little loose figures for the
Yeah.
Crimson Brothers. 169 bucks.
So wait a minute. When they got hit, the other one felt it.
Yeah, like when they were in battle.
It's like that bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so you would hit one and then the other would be like, oh.
How do you
hit
know
me
though?
too.
They're an inanimate object.
Hey man,
They're action figures. It was the imagination.
No, I'm talking about the cartoon.
Hey,
The
you're not
cartoon.
saying "ow" when I hit you.
No, it's a cartoon. I'm talking about the cartoon, but not in real life.
Damn.
The Crimson Brothers. Okay, so when we think about a cinematic, we said the twins.
Well, what's the ones? Was it Blade? What was those two martial arts twins that looked
Albino?
Norwegian? Huh?
Albino ones
Albino twins.
from the Matrix.
Matrix. That's what it was.
oh,
Yep. You had those
yes.
twins. Yep.
I think of Sister.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, they were
Sister. Oh shit, yeah.
hot.
Yeah, they're hot. One of them stayed hot.
Yeah, the one who kept working.
Yeah.
So Jason, tell us. Okay, what? Now I met you, like I said, in 2006 or 2007. I
Right
remember,
at the beginning of my career.
I'm beginning your career, and I remember Jason was one of the rare few white dudes that would come into the Latino rooms, which is really cool.
And that was on accident.
Yeah, tell us about
See,
that.
here's how that happened. Because when I started getting into comedy, I was told by the veterans, talk about your life, talk about real things, and talk about your kids. And the reality of my life is my wife is Latina, my kids are Latino. And I started telling jokes about living in a Latin house and da-da-da. And people took notice and would say, hey, I got this show at this room, come do this show. And I ended up doing, so here's what happened with the Latino shows. I ended up on a show at the Improv very early on called, I think I'd only been doing stand-up for like 6 months. And this show was called Sex, Stand-Up, and Rock and Roll. Because one of the drummers for Skid Row started doing stand-up comedy, Phil Varone. And him and I started around the same time in the same room. And it was me, Phil Varone, what's her name from Mad TV?
Oh, come on, man. Stewart. What's her name?
Yeah, her. She,
Bornstein?
no, God, why is her
She's
name?
awesome. She's the news anchor in Parks and Recs.
Yeah. Remember in 40-Year-Old Virgin when he was doing the speed dating and the woman's name was, he goes, Gina. She goes, it's actually Gina.
Her.
That actress.
Mo Collins.
Mo Collins.
Mo Collins.
So
yes.
Collins.
Phil
Very
Varone,
funny, very funny.
Phil Varone, Mo Collins, Chris D'Elia, we all started right around the same time.
You're part of that class.
At the Ha-Ha, right? And Phil Varone, because he had some notoriety in the rock and roll world, he was offered a show at the Improv once a month on a Saturday at midnight. And the show was called Sex, Stand-Up, and Rock and Roll because it was sponsored by a sex toy company.
Yeah.
And all these ex-rock and roll guys would come to the show. So
I kind of remember that show now.
and back when the comedy clubs were way more picky about who they put on their stages, the Improv allowed him to choose one comic, but the rest of the lineup had to be Comedy Store Improv regulars.
Yeah.
So he took his friends, all of us, and each month he gave us a spot. So the day that I got a spot on that show, I'd only been doing stand-up for like 4 or 5 months, right? But when I was there, I did a good job. So then the following week, I showed up on a Friday night. And you remember what Friday night 10 o'clock show was?
Yeah.
Refried Fridays. It was Richard Villa's Refried Fridays. I walk up, I know nothing about comedy and how to get into shows. And remember D, the manager?
Remember D?
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
D saw me.
Hey,
D.
D. Burdett saw me.
Shout out to D. Burdett.
She's the best.
Put up a lot of comics. I remember hanging out there.
nice.
Very nice.
Still in the
Super
game,
cool.
too.
Still in the game.
Has a
Shout out to
great venue.
D. Burdett.
So when I walk up, just out of pure luck, she recognized me from doing the show the last week. She goes, "Oh, you were on the show with Phil Verone." I go, "Thank you." She goes, "You did a great job." And I'm just looking at this line down the street and around the corner to get into this Friday night show. I go, "What show is this?" And she goes, "Oh, this is Refried Fridays.
Yeah.
It's a Latino show." And I was like, "Oh." And she goes, "I think I can get you a guest spot tonight." So she brings out who was hosting that night. And that night it was, dude, I'm so bad.
That's okay.
Names fall. He had his own show at the Ice House. He hosted
Rudy
Fernando
Fernando?
Flores.
Flores.
Oh, okay.
Fernando
Who I
Flores.
love. And I don't know what
Oh, you
name.
gotta just say a couple of
Yeah,
names.
Fernando Flores that night was filling in for Richard Villa. Richard was on the road. Fernando Flores says, "All right, I'll put you up this time." Gives me a 5-minute spot. I did a great job. Fernando says, "Come back next week. I want you to meet Richard." Come back the next week.
That's how that
I meet Richard and I get on that show. And then for the next, I don't know how long it was, I was doing Refried Fridays every Friday.
You were there a lot.
I was either doing a spot or hosting it. You remember I would host it?
Yeah, I remember you were there a lot, and I was like, "Oh, it's cool." And
I remember certain comedians would get, "Why is this white boy hosting?"
I didn't care
Refried?"
because I remember
Well, you were one of the guys that knew me before.
I didn't care because I knew you were funny, but I remember he was one of the
Yeah.
rare white boys that were there, and then Andrew Santino was there
Santino,
too.
yeah.
Because Andrew
Yeah.
Santino was there,
Yeah.
and I remember him going up. So it was a vibe. It was
So
cool.
a lot of the guys on that show had their own rooms that they ran.
Yeah.
So I ended up on a lot of
Click,
Latino
click,
shows.
click, click,
What do you guys call it? The taco circuit? I don't know what you guys call
click.
it.
We don't call. We just.
You call it good?
What is it
Good
called?
shows?
You said the tacos are. The black people have their chillin' circuit. We have never.
I know, that's
referred to
all-
our circuit as.
I wonder
food.
did they refer to it as a chillin'? I don't know.
They say sometimes, yeah, man, the chillin' circuit.
But yeah, I
don't
was
think
on a lot of Latino shows for a long time.
So
And
you were doing that.
Yeah, and I ended up opening for a lot of bigger, like I opened for Mencia on the road for a while.
Okay.
And then some of the other urban acts.
Right.
My first weekend at an improv was hosting a full weekend in Ontario for Patrice O'Neill,
Yeah.
Nice.
which
That's
was incredible. And then the
One of the
next
best.
one, the very next one they gave me was opening a full weekend for Witherspoon. Also,
Oh, Pops.
right?
I got to work with him
Yeah.
a long time ago. Really, really cool guy. Funny. His son's doing
Yeah.
pretty good too. He's out there hustling.
But
Yeah.
I think that's what like starting at the Haha was good for. Like when you work with the Haha, it's like a multicultural room. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like the only quote unquote Mexican club that's
Is it a
out there.
Mexican
No,
club?
Well, I
really,
would
not
say,
really.
I mean,
it's
a little bit of
Mexamenian.
Yeah,
Mexamenian. Yeah, because you
That's
have
what it is.
You have Mexamenian. It's definitely
Terry is Mexican.
Terry's
Yeah.
Mexican.
Tere,
and
sorry, Tere.
Tere
And
is
Jack
Mexican.
is
and Jack
Armenian.
isn't. And Jack isn't. And
That's
he has
where
a
the-
ponytail
and-
still.
Yes, and wears a hat, and that's why Tere's last name is Asadori.
He always looked like a bad guy from one of those 80s like commando movies and shit.
Man, I love that.
He's cool as hell.
He's crazy, but I
He's
love
an
him.
Armenian action hero.
Cool dude. Cool dude.
I'll never forget the first time he pulled me aside, and I had been going there regularly, and he wanted me to do my own show, and then he wanted me to help him. He pulls me to one of those high top tables. He goes, "Okay, I'm going to do something for you, Jason." I'm like, "Okay." He reaches into his jacket pocket and he pulls out a stack of tickets, and he lays them out on the table like he's about to do a card
For
trick.
you.
He goes, "I give these tickets to you for $5 a piece. You sell them for whatever you want." And I went, "No, thank you." So much pressure.
Because that was the old Haha. Too.
Yeah.
That was when
That's
it was
old
like-
school. That's the one.
yeah.
That was the one that was up the street on Laker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not-
with the
not
big
closer.
marquee, the
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
looking over.
I remember those days.
The creepy looking over, and then it was right next to the photography studio.
I remember those
Cramped
days.
front bar ever.
Oh my
So
god!
so tell us.
I got in so much trouble there one night. Not in trouble, but Terry got really upset with me because I went on stage. I remember the old stage had a door with a chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then it said Hollywood, like, but it
Yeah,
looked
I
like it
remember
was
that.
written
Yeah.
in blood.
Yeah,
And then there was a girl in the freaking shower, remember? And
remember
I
that.
started pointing all that out. I go, how welcoming is a door that's chained shut and it's Hollywood's written in blood? And now I'm peeking at this girl in the shower. I was doing all that.
remember that, yeah.
And then I said, and why does the bathroom always look like somebody just finished shaving?
Yeah.
Huge laugh by the staff. Jack and Terry did not like
Did not
it.
like that. I don't think everybody. No, I never went to the restroom there because I knew
Oh,
there
man.
was some shady
I
times.
tried to avoid
It
it.
always looked like someone shaved.
Yeah,
Dude, it was always
it was
like-
it was rough in there.
Jason, do you remember this guy who had one finger?
Yes.
Yeah, how crazy was that dude? Oh,
You worked there, right?
No, he was kind of worked there, but
He always
he
had a
was-
black hat on with a thing in it.
I thought it was funny.
That's what he was saying. So the first time my mom came to watch me do comedy, she
just
brought
talking about
she brought my aunt with her and my cousin, and they could not. It hit their funny bone because he kept going, kind of funny, I thought.
Yeah.
After every joke that wasn't
Funny, I-
hitting, he would go, kind of. But it became like this thing that you wanted him to say, kind of funny, I thought. And every time he would say it, I could hear my mom and my aunt just losing their minds laughing. He was a character. There was characters. Dude.
So you guys had to come all the way. Now you're born and raised in what city again?
We were born in Santa Monica, but we were raised in Long Beach.
You were
We
raised in
lived-
LBC.
For the first like 5 or 6 years of our lives, we lived in the Valley, North Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
We lived in Malibu for a little bit in this little community. But my parents, they didn't have a lot of money because my dad was a musician. He was kind of like a touring musician, but he wasn't famous.
He's on the grind.
He was on the grind. So my aunt, his older sister, they had a house that they were selling here in Long Beach. And they said, well, you can, and the house that we were renting in up there, they were selling the house and we had to get out. So my aunt said to my parents, you could live in this house I'm selling until it sells, but and you don't have to pay me rent, but I want you to help sell the house, be there to show people the house and stuff. So that's kind of how we ended up in Long Beach. And then my parents found an apartment that was affordable.
Did you guys go to Poly or Wilson?
Milliken? And I went to Milliken and Wilson.
Milliken.
He went to Milliken.
Those are the
After
high
a while,
schools out here.
Milliken didn't want me anymore.
It's Wilson and then Poly.
Well, you got Poly. The high schools in Long Beach are Poly, Milliken, Wilson, Jordan. Am I missing one?
Hey, you got Cabrillo.
Now, well, there's new ones, but when we were kids,
Those are the main ones.
those are the main
Lakewood,
ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lakewood was considered Long Beach, but it was in the city of Lakewood. Yeah.
Now, did you guys play sports or anything in high school?
Right in the beginning, we came up playing when we were kids. My dad got us into football.
Football.
We
Okay.
played a lot of football,
Nice.
and my brother, I think, was on the team in our sophomore year.
I can't remember.
When we first started, but we got
Wow.
heavily into martial arts. And
Ooh.
that's one of the things I feel like that I love stand-up comedy for
Yeah.
so much because martial arts is a sport, but it ain't a team sport.
Oh yeah.
It's
Wait,
individual.
what was the
You're on
art
your own.
from? What was the art from?
We studied Kempo karate and Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And then when we were 21, we opened our own school here in Long Beach.
Nice.
And by the time we were in our 40s, our family was overseeing like 6 or 7 different schools.
Now, David, do you think that karate is good discipline for kids?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, when it comes to kids, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but when it comes to kids, that was when I taught kids for
Right.
decades. And it's my opinion that when it comes to children, you're not shopping for an art. You're shopping for a teacher.
Right.
So if the teacher can connect with your child and get, them to understand the art and be able to defend themselves and all that, that's what you want.
A lot of people don't know this about Bruce Lee, incredible martial artist. From what I understand, very impatient teacher.
Mm.
Wanted it. Why aren't you as good at this that I am?
Yeah.
And a lot of people get into that. I can do this easily. Why can't you? And so I agree with him. You're really shopping especially for kids, for an instructor.
And did you get up to like double like stripe black belt? Or,
My
like,
brother's-
for jujitsu and
My brother's a 7th degree.
I'm actually retired. I was ahead of my whole own organization called Collings Martial Arts Academy. And
Yeah.
I had guys in other locations and things like that. So
Oh wow.
So
Yeah,
is it like
I
when
was,
it comes to the karate and all that stuff? Is it kind of like Mr. Miyagi? It is to learn to not fight, right? To be
that all
always-
depends on the individual.
All depends on the individual.
Things
Okay.
changed. Things changed in that industry drastically when the UFC came about.
Then it became like,
Oh,
I want to learn
yeah.
how to kick some ass.
You were
Right.
with some.
We
ass.
ended up pivoting, and our school, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, David, I believe that we were one of the very first mixed martial arts schools because we mixed into all these other martial arts with our
Yeah.
program.
It-
But MMA, that term didn't exist back then.
Right.
But we had a jiu-jitsu program, we had a kickboxing program, we had a karate program.
Yeah.
So we had the whole mix going on. Because a lot of instructors, when the UFC happened, and they started hating on it because Hoist was just grabbing Hoist Gracie was our original instructor, was just grabbing people and wrestling to the ground. And they're like, there's no technique in that. Yeah, but there's survival. So a lot of people that were hating on it, we were very fortunate that our dad was like, oh, no, we need to learn this.
Yeah.
We need to add this to the thing. And the way my dad discovered Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu before the UFC even started. We knew about it already because my dad had a subscription to Playboy magazine, and he only read it for the articles. And this is very cool piece of history. The very last stapled issue before they went to an actual spine, the cover was Madonna. It was 1989. It was an 89 issue. The cover was Madonna, and one of the interviews on the inside was a man named Rorion Gracie, who's Hoist Gracie's older brother, who was in charge of the whole. He's actually the creator of the UFC. He created it before he sold it off. So my dad saw it then. He says, "Yeah, these guys got a standing bet that they'll pay anybody." Was it, how much was it back then? Like $25,000.
Like a huge amount of money.
A huge amount of money to anybody that can beat us. And they challenged Tyson. They challenged Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris was another one who said, "Wait a minute, I actually want to learn this." Chuck Norris became a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Danny Inosanto, who's really well known, one of Bruce Lee's top students in Jeet Kune Do, he is a master black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So a lot of people made that pivot, and we were one of them.
So when you guys are, since you guys come from that, like I said, from the karate and jujitsu and all that stuff, like when you watch a show like Cobra Kai and all that stuff, do you just sit back? Like, what's your take on that?
Here's my
want to hear that.
How do you feel about
Here's
that?
my take on Cobra Kai. I absolutely freaking love it.
Okay.
And here's why, because it actually kind of, it's like what you're doing with all this. One of the things you love about these toys is the nostalgia of it.
Right.
As it reminds you of when you were a kid.
Right.
It's like the nostalgia of when I was a kid. And when we were kids, Karate Kid came out when we were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Karate Kid was a huge reason why a lot of people started taking martial arts. You know, for me and my brother, it was Karate Kid and The Last Dragon.
Yeah.
The Last
By
Dragon?
the time Karate
Yeah,
Kid
and
came out,
I remember too, and I think you guys know this. The American Ninja movies. We were watching that. I was buying Ninja Stars. I'd be at the flea market buying Ninja Stars.
Every one of those movies.
Chinatown.
Yeah.
Sho,
yeah.
what was the name of the actor in the Ninja Sho Kosugi? Anyways, so when this Cobra Kai thing came out, you know, I'm now in my 50s, and I'm one of those guys that I love the 80s.
Yeah.
I love the decade. That
Yeah,
I
we're
grew up
about that
in.
life too.
I love it so much. I really believe that the 80s was the best decade of all time. And there's a lot of things that prove that, in my opinion.
And the
music,
Karate
the
Kid
toys.
is
Think about all these things that are big right now. That shit all came out in the damn 80s. Andor, all these new Star Wars things.
Yeah, yeah.
Star Wars came out, it was
77.
77,
but it
and
got big in the 80s.
It got big in the 80s. Like I remember my first screening, standing in line, waiting in line in Modesto, where I'm from, for 2.5 hours waiting for Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, man.
to open up.
That was
We
the
remember
fun.
that like yesterday.
Yeah.
And then you think about Karate Kid. Karate Kid is a thing that came out in the 80s that was huge.
84.
It's
yeah.
a teen
and then the
rom-com.
music.
More than a martial
The
arts.
music. Why do millennial kids? Why do millennials know every word to every 80s song? I'll tell you why. Because it's the best damn decade in the world. When we were kids at that age, we weren't sitting around listening to K Earth 101 50s music.
Right.
Like the
And we didn't
sock hops.
memorize. Those songs are now played at clubs and parties to this day.
And you know,
Because it was the best one.
and we, growing up too, we only had 4 channels. So
Right.
there,
A lot of these
it was a big
yeah.
deal when you had MTV and Night Tracks
Yeah.
come out.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget when Michael Jackson performed. He did the moonwalk for the first time.
Yep.
You want to look that up, Solomon? Whenever he
The
did the
award
moonwalk
show.
for the first time,
I think it was the American Music Awards.
I think
don't
it
think it
was-
was the Grammys. I think it was the American Music
I don't think it was the Grammys either. I think it was another kind of awards
And
thing
he-
where you could
that
see him do the
Jackson
moonwalk.
5 came out, they did their thing, and then he pulled solo. And then for the first time, the world saw the moonwalk. What you and I remember is we knew what the moonwalk was already. Because
I had already heard about it,
Right,
Because
but-
I already seen
yeah.
breaking and a
Right.
couple other things. But I remember just seeing it live, and my dad was like, "Mira, mira, mira, Michael Jackson, mira, moonwalk, he's walking backwards, he's walking backwards. It's not coming on the we're like, what the hell? Yes, because it was. But see, there
Yeah.
was no internet.
Right.
There was, and I remember, and this is what I tell my son because he's 20 now, and he's always arguing about, certain players, certain eras. Like he's a part of that. He's Gen Z.
Right.
So therefore I have to bring him into this world where
Yes.
it's like, son, you had no idea. We had a Walkman. He's like, what's that? I go, well, I had a tape player. What's a tape
Right.
player? And it's just one thing after another.
Oh, man.
He's like,
So
here we go. So the performance right here, it says right here, Motown's 25th
Motown's
anniversary.
25th, that's
We
what
should
it
have
was.
known that. Yes.
We should have known that. We're
Do you
bad.
remember Solomon
We're
watching
bad
this
Gen
when it came
Xers.
out?
No.
You don't? Whatever,
Oh.
Solomon.
Solomon, I'm gonna
I
out
couldn't
you
watch
right
it
now.
from
Yes.
I'm
born.
gonna
Yes.
out Solomon.
Yes.
Right now. I'm outing you. You ready? Solomon actually has an amazing Michael Jackson connection. He, sang on one of Michael Jackson's songs.
I did.
You did, Solomon?
Yeah.
You sure did.
Which song was this?
Triumph, the Triumph album. Can you feel it?
Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Can you feel it? I'll get the high note.
Yeah.
Can you feel it?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool, Solomon.
Thank you.
So
I think that's awesome.
So and I remember, Jason. I remember growing up on Friday nights. My parents were in the show Dallas, and I remember every Friday it was
shot 'em?
Dallas night.
Yeah.
Who shot JR?
Not just that, just who shot JR, and then
people
Pam and
forget-
Bobby and Sue Ellen. Like,
But people forget how big that Who Shot JR thing
oh,
was. And
it
the
was on the
reason-
cover of Time magazine.
And the reason it was so big is because we only had 4 freaking channels. Today, something will be big for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you forget about it because the next thing comes. So basically, my take on the Karate Kid, the Cobra Kai, is I absolutely, for the nostalgia, I freaking love it. I love it's all the original characters. I love that Daniel and Johnny are buddies.
Yeah.
I love that they're bringing back the guy with the long hair. What was his name?
Yeah, Silver.
Silver. They brought him back. As
Chosen.
a martial artist, it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. That's what I really.
It's
wanted.
hilarious. I usually watch those fight scenes, and I'm watching those scenes. I'm like, and all I'm thinking is, where are the kids that know jujitsu?
Right. Here's what I found
You know?
fascinating as an instructor watching it.
Yeah.
Neither of them, Ralph Macchio or what's his name?
Johnny.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Neither of them knew martial arts, but
They were
But
taught for the movie.
they were taught for the movie. Yet Johnny looks like he knows
Right.
what the hell he's doing,
Yeah.
and Ralph Macchio does not.
Martial arts is just like stand up, and you've seen when
You
you
have
watch
to
somebody who do comedy bad, you're like, yeah, this ain't for everybody.
Yeah.
It's a wavelength.
It's a wavelength thing.
Yeah.
There are certain body types and coordination, people with a certain type of coordination that just can't figure out how to do it.
Mhm.
And Danny LaRusso is one of those
He's,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Chosen as well. He
He's
kind
very
of
clumsy.
he was a little clumsy about how. Whereas Johnny looked like he knew what the hell.
Like he knew
was
who-
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he had like good
Yeah.
form. He was like,
Stance
You know who
and
else
everything.
looked like they knew what
Did you
they were
guys
doing?
look at
Lamar.
Stance?
Oh,
Lamar.
yeah, Lamar did, yeah.
Lamar looked like he knew what he was
I
doing.
know.
Remember him from
Lamar
Revenge of the
from Revenge of
Nerds?
People don't know that Daniel had to fight a brown belt in the All Valley tournament who was also a nerd,
Yeah.
a gay nerd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lambda,
Loose.
lambda, Omega move.
Javelin.
Have
Lambda.
you ever
Man.
seen? Let me ask you
Omega
this.
move.
Speaking of this, do,
Yeah.
do you know the Foot Fist Way? Have you ever watched? this?
yes.
That's
Okay.
a movie you
Love
gotta
that
watch.
movie.
Okay.
I haven't
now,
seen this.
As
Danny
someone,
McBride.
as someone.
Oh, wait a
who's
minute. The comedy movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I have.
As
Yes, I
someone who
have.
has spent decades in that industry, that thing is so accurate.
They nailed
But,
it.
yeah,
They
it's all about
nailed
form.
it. There's but the
But you guys-
weirdos. But I mean,
just the shit they talk about,
the
the way the
strange
schools
Yeah, yeah.
people that it attracts.
Yeah, it's so good.
We used to have the strangest people come to our door.
So when you're watching the Karate Kid stuff episodes of Cobra Kai as an instructor, you're like, yay, nay. You just
I don't
No.
nay it. I just enjoy
I
it.
just
you just enjoy it. So you
Yeah.
try not to
Yeah.
put.
Don't
the
forget we're
instructor-
retired.
Let me give you a good example of that. I have
You're retired.
a really good friend who his name is Master Joseph Bannon. He's a former Secret Service Presidential Protection Detail, but
Yeah.
on top of that, tons of other stuff that he's got
He's
all
not-
kinds
a lot of stuff he's not even allowed to talk about.
Yeah, and he has a system that he teaches only to trained people. He doesn't teach civilians, and it's called Surgical Strike System. He certified me to be the only civilian to teach it. I do not. I do not teach it. I don't feel even with that, and I'm very honored. I feel it. I would be doing it a disservice.
Right.
But anyway,
It's scary though. I don't know it,
So-
so I would only watch him do it. He knows things, and I'm like, ugh.
So there was a great movie called Olympus Has Fallen. Have you seen
Yeah.
this?
Well, I
I've
know-
seen
I
that,
know
yeah.
of it.
I've seen it. I've seen
Gerard
the movie,
Butler's character is based on him.
yeah. Okay.
He's the character study for that movie.
Yeah, the real deal.
And for example, when we were training, he disappeared on me for a while, and I was like, oh, cool, man, he's on some sweet mission or something.
Right.
No, I was working on this movie, but here's about not
Wait,
taking it seriously,
real quick.
enjoying things for what they are. There, at the same time, Jamie Foxx came out in one called White House Down.
I've seen that one
That
too.
was more Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember asking Master Ben, I said, Joseph, what did you think of that? And he was like, I loved it. He thought that movie was so fun. See, a good martial artist doesn't take himself serious. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So I would never look at a film and judge the martial arts, and I want to enjoy it as a movie. And
What was his?
he was the same way. So this kind of Hollywood version of the movie he made, he thought it was the best
and he
thing
was
ever.
a funny guy. Because you told me, remember their inside joke when he was on the Hillary detail?
Well, I don't know if I should say that.
You can.
Yeah, dude.
You can say, hey, we're
age we're living in right now?
It was a joke, but he said he was talking about something to the effect of having to jump in front of the bullet if you had to.
Mhm.
And then he kind of said something like, I mean, if it was Hillary, we'd just duck. Then he immediately said, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, like, I had no idea. Now, we've been talking all this comedy stuff and karate stuff and all that good stuff, but I had no idea. We vibed anyway. I always vibe with Jason, but vibe with you too when you told me that you had a Star Wars collection. Can you tell us how that came about? Like, what happened when you were a kid? Like, you just started buying toys?
That's the thing. When Jay and I were kids, obviously Jason had more of the wherewithal to keep things.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't for some reason. I didn't have that and regretted it, later on when these things started becoming popular. So over my adult life, I've kind of slowly gotten things. And for example, I worked for a while for Disneyland Resort, not the company Disney, but just the theme park there. And for what they call them cast members, there's a place you can go shop where, things are maybe discontinued and that kind of. And I've got this really cool at ST Walker. I should have brought that too.
ATST, right?
Remember the
right.
one episode of The Mandalorian when he was with those farmers that had those like little ponds?
Yes,
And there
you
was
know who's
that-
in that episode? Asif Ali.
Yeah,
In that
okay.
episode, yeah.
Remember that group, that rogue group, kind of had that repurposed at ST Walker.
Yep.
I have that one with all the stuff that they put on it and everything. And I got it from back there in that store. So most of the stuff I collect, there's like I kind of come across it. Mine are more found.
Tell us what you brought us here today. Now, can you grab that and put that in your lap?
This
What
is
it that
this
you
is
have
a,
right there.
This is a TIE fighter,
Okay.
right? Imperial TIE. Which one am I showing there? Okay.
The Imperial TIE Fighter.
Now the cool thing about this is I was not into the original toy. I wasn't really into the original TIE Fighter, X-Wing, or Millennium Falcon. I didn't like them because at that young age, to me, I knew that they weren't screen accurate. If you remember, they looked
Right.
more like Fisher-Price toys. Like the ion engines were kind of small. And remember, you would push a button and they would fly off. Remember that?
That looks like a newer version of the TIE Fighters. I want to say that's the 90s, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
but it is the TIE Fighter
but it
from
looks really
Star
cool.
Wars. But it's if you notice, it's screen accurate. That's
Yeah.
why I like it. And also, it came with a guy in it. It has the
The
actual.
TIE Fighter pilot,
Yeah, he's in there.
he's in there somewhere.
Yeah, if I can get him out. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, you just pop that right there. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he comes out with his little boosters.
That's-
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
That's
That's what
very
I'm talking
cool.
about.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Now, how I got this was actually fun too, because some people they like,
Yeah, tell us how you
yourself-
got this.
Like yourself, you have collectibles in mind, and you go and hunt
And we
them
search,
down
we hunt
for
them down.
sure.
Yeah.
And some of them are just kind of happened upon. You'll be in a secondhand store or something, and you'll just kind of find it. Well, my wife is part of a local in Long Beach. There's a local Facebook group called Good Shit Long Beach.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Good shit, Long
Do you know about it?
No,
Good Shit Long Beach.
but I
It's-
love Facebook groups. 'cause
and
you can find
what
so
they'll
much.
do is they'll have like a thing of what they think is a thing of value, but it has no more purpose for them.
So
And
they try to sell it or give it away?
no, it's all giveaway. It's all yeah.
I'm gonna put this in my notes. Good,
Yeah,
I live
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Good shit, Long Beach
I mean,
is on.
I believe there's probably an element of where you can sell things on there.
Of course, but no.
Wait, real quick. Facebook Marketplace. If you've cruised Facebook Marketplace,
We need to start doing that. Somebody told me
tons
that-
of vintage Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah,
toys.
yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Listeners and callers, listeners and people that are watching, if you guys know of anything like that on the Facebook Marketplace, holler at us. Now go ahead, continue.
So this Good Shit Long Beach, you'll get things like you'll go on it and you'll see someone. I have no use for this. I was gonna get a dog, but I ended
Come
up
pick it
not
up or
getting
whatever.
a dog. So I have this brand new leash set. Come get it. You know what I mean, kind of thing. Well, this kid put his whole Star Wars collection on it, and he told his mother, "Mom, you're in charge of the Facebook because he was only 14. Do not give any of my toys to a kid. It has to go to a grown up who." He was specific, like someone my age group who grew up with Star Wars, and I thought that was cool. He was like, "I want somebody to appreciate it," and so I didn't know anything about it. So my wife put a little message to her, and she told the story about how Star Wars Episode 4 is the
New
first
Hope.
one, this first theatrical movie we ever went to.
Yeah.
Our dad
As-
took us to the Chinese
as,
theater
you know,
in the Grand.
Yeah,
The
opening weekend,
opening
the
week.
Chinese
Oh, man, that's
theater,
fire.
That's
For real?
cool.
the whole thing, right? I was 6. I wish I remembered it more. That's
no
why
memory.
we're in the same thing as you. Is
Yeah.
we became the craze hit us with Empire Strikes Back. That's
Yeah, the
when
crazy hit up.
That's when that hit.
For that.
But yeah, so she told him told the whole story of this, and my husband loves Star Wars and this and that. And next thing you know, it's this box of stuff, and it included this. It included an X-wing with one of the foils missing, wings missing, and included a gigantic Millennium Falcon, which was one of the ones that if I were to go out and try to find a thing, that's what I would love to have.
That's cool.
That was
I
our
didn't
whole
have
trail,
as a,
man.
that I didn't have as a
Yeah.
kid.
And it's still worth a lot of money. I
Right.
mean,
It was a lot of money back then.
It's
That's
still-
why we never got one.
I mean, look, even the newer ones that they come out with in the 90s and the 2000s, they're still worth money, even out of the box. So
Mhm.
that's awesome.
So I got that. I got a completely intact TIE Interceptor
Nice.
as well, and then a handful of like kind of action figures that
Yeah.
were just kind of loose and hanging around. And
So you
some-
still have those?
Oh yeah, I
which
got
is
them
good,
all.
Which is good.
I got one of the. I got a
the stormtrooper.
stormtrooper about that high out of the box, but he's in perfect condition, and he sits next to my stormtrooper helmet, which was mine. But
Dork.
one of the reasons I brought this,
But it's weird because he's into it, but you were like not collecting toys.
No, I've always been a Star Wars fan, but he's on a different level.
Yeah.
Like he knows the order in which things have happened. I just watch him and go, oh, cool. That's
yes, but I'm like that with what I like. There are
Right.
certain things I could care less. Like, not
You're
care
not like
less,
that with
but-
like the way I am with shoes, with sneakers.
yeah, right.
You're a
right.
sneakerhead.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
about sneakers.
And I brought that one because I love stormtroopers.
Mhm.
That's always been my thing since the first movie game. I was fascinated by that monochromatic look, that white
Yeah.
and black. And,
Yeah.
and I have
He has a full.
I have a full stormtrooper armor that I
Nice.
made myself out of
Hell yeah.
That
EVA
is
foam.
cool.
Hell yeah. That's dope.
Insane. Man.
it looks-
That is cool.
Have you
That
worn it on?
You know, I
You-
wish I would have.
Have you worn it on
Yeah.
occasions?
You
I
look-
wore it on the Lions Den with him and Brent Morens.
yeah.
When Brent Moore and I had
Yeah.
the podcast,
when you had the podcast,
Yeah.
he
He
rocked
came on-
that
That's
shit.
he came on as a stormtrooper.
As a stormtrooper,
need
and then
that.
later on took the helmet out.
It-
off.
Shit's
But
funny.
I have to build a
Does
new
look
one
like you make
because
a lot of stuff.
here's the thing: I have to build a new suit because I've lost 25 pounds, I
Okay.
think, or 30
Yeah.
even
He was a
since
fat.
so it's just kind of I'm swimming in it, but which is cool. It gives me an excuse to make it though. But that I love the stormtrooper. And next time
See, the
my hat.
stormtroopers are known
And it's
for
funny 'cause
missing
it-
all the time, right?
Yeah,
That's another thing I've
yeah.
noticed about this spaceship. Pick it up again. I don't know if I'd want to fly this thing. That thing has the worst blind spots.
Two big ass
I would
blind
literally
spots.
just fly next to it and hide.
Yeah.
You know?
They put cameras on the outside.
Oh, okay.
No, that is true. I don't think they ever did. Because that's why they always got jacked up, even in the battle scenes.
Blind spots.
And then
They have sensors.
in the spirit of getting really cool things from my wife, I
Oh,
got this from her too. And this
She
is
gave you a retro pack, which are good. We got
this
those
is
too.
cool. And the reason I like this, it's got the they got the
patina.
distressed kind of
Yeah, no, they have all the original 6 or original 5. Original
the,
6
the way
figures.
they look.
Yeah, they look really cool.
And that's why I like it because they're packaged the same way, and
Mhm.
the Luke's lightsaber is stuck up his arm. You remember
Yeah.
that? And you have the
So
little
what they
lever
did was
and-
they reproduced the same original figures.
Yeah.
And you guys can get these at the Disney post in Disneyland. I saw
Our-
those, and you can order them too, and they come unpunched too.
Our first,
they have a
first Star
few
Wars-
different boxes. of
Yeah, they
it,
do.
By the way.
They have that one. They have Revenge of the Sith and couple
Yeah,
other ones.
this is
Our
of course,
first Star Wars toy that we ever got given to us by our dad was he came on the way home from work. He picked up it was a Luke Skywalker and a Darth Vader,
Nice.
Yeah.
and those were our very first.
because they could fight.
Do you guys remember what stores your parents would get these
FedMart.
toys?
FedMart,
Two of them.
FedMart.
Zodies?
Zodies. We got a
And
Zodies,
then we
Solomon.
had-
We got a Zodies, Solomon.
Remember Best?
we
Remember Best?
we don't. Okay, these
yeah.
are stores that I would get toys from. Solomon, if you want to get a chance, look up Gemco.
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 Yeah.
Jamco was
Gemco was
Action
the
figures.
spot. Mervin's.
Mervin's. Remember Gemco was across from our high school. When we were,
Johnny's like, what the hell is that?
That's
Cable
right.
Toys.
Okay, Johnny's different. Johnny's another 10 years after us. But so they had Gemco, Zodies,
Zodies, Best,
Mervin's.
Mervin's.
We didn't have Best up in Northern California, but I've heard of
Mervin's,
Best.
and then
TG and Y.
TG and Y.
TG and Y.
TG and Y had a pretty decent little toy section.
They did.
They had a TG and Y.
And then
out by our
Kmart too.
grandmother's house.
And then
Yeah.
Kmart.
Mhm.
Yep.
You remember
See-
some TG and Y, Solomon? You remember that store?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
The only toy store we had was Toys R Us, right?
Yes.
KB
No.
Toys came along when we were.
Came afterwards.
Yeah,
Do you remember
KB Toys was
KB
like-
Toys?
Now those
Mid-90s,
are all
late
gone.
90s.
They're all gone, and we were
They
just
just
talking.
closed the last
We
Toys
were
R Us.
just talking about that. How awful that is. Like these poor kids that
It-
they're missing out on. I mean, Toys R Us was the spot.
Part of the nostalgia was, see, now the kids are just sitting at home and their mom's getting it on Amazon. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Part of the
It was
nostalgia
the hunt.
was going to the store and going,
Getting rewarded.
oh. And then I remember walking into Toys R Us, and they had a full Millennium Falcon hanging from the ceiling. And this, and oh, one day I'll get that one. That was the experience of walking through that store, and then specific aisles, walking down the Star Wars aisle, walking down the Hot Wheels aisle. Oh, you know,
And they
it
had,
was
you
just-
know, they had My Little Pony.
now you don't,
Strawberry
they don't, the
Shortcake,
kids don't get that experience.
Cabbage Patch
Darth
Kids.
Vader showed up to FedMart.
Yo, we got to go see him.
Yeah,
It was a promotional tour he was doing,
Yeah.
and they had a whole thing where kids lined up outside.
I seriously doubt it was.
It was James Earl Jones.
No, it
Don't
was
crush my
not. It was
dreams.
just some dude
Don't
in a dark.
He was
crush my
tall,
dreams.
man. You could see him over the aisles.
James is like, do I walk around this fucking hot ass?
But it was
outfit?
never him in the suit.
It was never him. It was just
Who was it, Dave?
David Prowse.
David Prowse.
You
David Prowse.
dorks. I love it. I love it.
So Solomon, when you get a chance, I want the viewers to see the Gemco, just the Gemco sign.
The Gemco logo, FedMart.
Yeah.
Definitely Gemco.
I remember best because it was the
Gemco's
first time
just
my
got the
mom had to buy.
Wikipedia.
There it is.
There it is.
It's different now, but look,
Our
son
first
of a bitch. So look, the successor was Target, homie.
Yeah.
And the headquarters was Buena Park. How you like them apples?
Look at that.
I never would have guessed that.
OC.
I didn't think
Yeah.
that either. I didn't
Fate
know Target was
liquidation.
Look what they said. Founded in '59, and then that's it. It was
I love
over
that
in
it's
'86.
fate.
Yeah,
Makes
right?
it so dramatic. It's fate. Liquidation.
Okay, so obviously, David, Star Wars, and then you brought us something that we haven't seen here on the show.
So
Explain what you brought us here. This
I
is really
brought
cool.
the original.
And bring them up to your lap so we didn't open them. Yeah.
Let me see something real quick. Should have a date on it somewhere. But this is. I feel like I'm at show and tell at school. I bought a Castle Grayskull. So this is the original Castle Grayskull toy that we got for Christmas one year,
Yeah.
and it came out in '80.
Let's talk about He-Man. He-Man is interesting. He-Man exists. This is my opinion. He-Man exists because of Star Wars toys.
Right.
Because they were like, this company, what is it? Who makes this?
This was, I want to say it's Mattel, right, Solomon? If I'm not mistaken, who made He-Man.
Yeah.
I think it's Mattel, if
They
I'm not
passed
mistaken.
on Star Wars.
Oh,
These guys passed on
they
Star
passed
Wars.
on making the Star Wars.
Is it Mattel or Hasbro? I think it's Mattel.
I don't know.
So-
about that.
But let's look up the
What
Castle
happened-
Grayskull
what-
though for sure.
What sold? Why did these sell so well? It's because of the story that went
Story
along
behind
with
it,
it.
right.
Yeah.
And if you remember, when that's what they said, we need this to have a story. So
Yeah.
they sold all these things with comic books attached.
Yeah, if you remember, each action figure came with a comic book
I don't.
of its
I mean,
own
I only
story
just. I
in
just
the-
remember my cousin
in the
getting-
packaging.
getting
yes.
the He-Man toys, but I don't really remember too much of the comic book.
So this is I have several of the action figures.
Oh, shit.
This
this is is that Man at Arms?
is Batarang.
Batarang. Look
I
at
didn't
that.
know those
Look at
were
that,
in
viewers.
there.
Batarang, baby.
Look at
That's
that. You push
Ram
the
Man.
button and it's Ram Man.
They have
That's what they
very,
call him, Ram Man.
It's really cool.
Weird names.
homoerotic names.
Remember Battle
these
Cat?
guys? These guys.
Battle Cat.
Oh, you brought the damn cat too? Now,
Bro,
I
that's
had
the
that.
Battle
I had
Cat.
That's fire. This was
Yeah.
the thing that
Was-
He-Man was riding on.
Yes.
Yeah.
The He-Man rode on.
Dude,
see,
did
this
was
not know
He-Man's
That was all in there, Jay.
pet.
Oh, this is really cool.
Oh, yeah, this
Guests
is all
and
in
viewers,
there, dude.
check this out. Battle
we
Cat.
got this
I like how
guy-
he has this little dope ass
Zodiac.
mask.
Dude.
This guy's name was Zodiac.
Zodiac.
Yep. This guy's name
No,
was
It was Zodak.
It's Zodak.
This is Merman. We had Merman.
Did you have any of these toys, Solomon?
Not that.
We had
The He-Man?
Now I might have been like
you kept up.
That's Man at Arms, right?
this is Man at Arms, but I must. What was the bad kid's name in Toy Story?
Sid.
I must have been Sid because
Dude,
he's
you're so
missing-
Mexican. You put Band-Aid on his motherfucking
He's
hand?
missing
Let
it,
me
dude.
see.
This guy's so like
This guy's thrashed, dude. Look
he's
at this.
so thrashed. But I do have a couple that
Pass
are in
these
pretty
on,
good
pass
shape.
these on.
This.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, you got to look at these.
Dude, I forgot. I had one of
This
these.
one's sick. I always like this. I like how he had the
These guys
mask. Okay, so this
David,
is Merman.
Who is this one, Dave?
This is Merman.
He has
Who the
rockets.
fuck is that?
I don't know. He's
That's Zodak. No.
one of those.
That shit looks dope.
Hawk.
Here.
One was a hawk. The one was a bird. This is Zodak. This. Oh, remember Triclops? Hey,
This is cool right here.
we have a Triclops, kids.
Oh, yes.
We
He
have
would
tri-
change.
And mind you,
change
these
his
aren't
face. This
these
is
aren't
Merman,
things
everybody.
that I
Merman.
these aren't things that I collected or found. These were toys that my brother and I got at this age when we were kids
They're still in great condition.
that we
dude.
kept, and we played with them. That's the thing.
I can't
Now
believe
this
those are in
one,
there.
That's-
I have
that's
no
a whole body.
idea who this is.
This is the defective.
This is actually, you want to check these out?
That dude had no insurance. Okay.
This is actually part of He-Man, I think.
I always like this one, you guys. What was this guy's name? Just
Oh, yeah.
change his faces?
Triclops.
Triclops. So
That's
like even change.
Triclops. Oh no, you're gonna see.
Oh, it's
who changed-
He-Man.
He-Man is I mean, come
Oh
on,
man.
look at this.
What the fuck? You got a defective He-Man?
We
guys had
We don't allow that shit here on this store on this show.
we trashed it, but
I like how
okay.
the original. But
Our
yeah.
here's the one that
played
you were
with.
thinking of. This is the one that you were thinking of. Manny Faces.
Manny Faces.
Yeah.
My name, Manny.
And when you turn
Faces.
when you turn this thing, he has different faces.
Three
He's got a
levels.
robot face. He's got a something face. He's got a monster face. And yeah,
This is really
this is
cool.
Manny Faces, right?
Manny Faces, everybody.
And of course, I think one of
Viewers,
the most,
if you had any He-Man, tell us which one was your favorite one. What year did you get it? Do you have the castle? Do you have the battle cat? And of course, the ultimate
the
villain
world
of all,
famous villain,
Skeletor.
Skeletor. I have still got Skeletor. He doesn't have his staff. He doesn't have his sword.
That's
if
all
you
right.
remember, Skeletor and He-Man had two halves of a sword that, when put together, it was the sword of destiny.
Now, I
or
do,
whatever
so
the
you would watch these cartoons
I have
as
the power.
yeah, you would watch these cartoons
Yeah.
as a regular, right?
We watched the cartoons.
Now, is it true? I believe Solomon. They're coming out finally with the movie.
They already did.
No, a newer
Dolph,
one.
baby.
A newer one. It got greenlit for a new movie.
Are they going to make it gritty and like?
I don't know.
They should make it dope.
It would be
I
kind of
mean,
cool if the new He-Man movie is coming out. I
I'd
believe
like to see how they
next year.
I wanted to
use
show the
fake
inside of this thing.
He-Man.
The
Yeah,
inside
turn
of
it
this
around,
thing.
turn it around.
Look at this thing. It's got an elevator. See, there's the elevator there.
Dungeon.
That's just
The-
tight, man.
The door opens up, which is the skeleton's mouth. And I don't know, and
Door open if you
somewhere.
stuck the sword in it.
And if you remember, there was a resurgence in the '90s. I don't know if you remember. They did a whole.
We do.
new set,
I do remember that. I do remember.
And
that.
they did a whole new Castle Grayskull.
Which
I got that one because it.
So you have a
felt-
vintage one.
Well, I got the other one because my son was at the age when they did the reboot of
He
playing
was
with
feeling it.
Oh,
and
that's
so he
cool.
has his version of Castle Grayskull.
You didn't have any of these action figures, Johnny?
I had like stuff like Mighty Max stuff, which is
Okay.
like similar, like but
Mighty
like
Max.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you try to pass these toys on to your? Because this was
No. I let him play with them,
yeah. You said,
but I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna hold on to them as long as I
yeah,
can.
man, hold on to them. I like how you have some. I mean, these original ones. Some of them obviously have some wear and tear, but they're other than He-Man falling apart.
Well, these
they-
are our toys.
But like
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
guys
played
took
with
care
them.
of them. I
you
appreciate
could
that.
see the craft, not the craftsman, but like the actual like quality diminished.
They used
because like these are like just
This is just
this-
normal wear and tear, guys.
this body, this toy body was used for a different toy, and like Battle Cat, for example. There's another. Was it Johnny Quest? Was it Johnny Quest? Which one was the one where the kid rode a lion and it was like and he had a Haji was his friend.
yeah,
the
Johnny
turtle?
Johnny
Quest.
Quest.
That's Johnny Quest.
So
yeah.
those toys, they reused the same cat for the
Oh,
Battle
really?
Cat.
I always thought this was cool, and I've
Yeah.
seen. And you know, every time we were at this toys, He-Man's still alive and well, you guys. This is the first time we've had He-Man on the show, which is great. He-Man toys, He-Man toys.
Man's a little gay.
No, but we like him. We
love him.
He does.
So look, this
yeah.
is the movie that's coming out.
It's animated.
that's fine.
Oh no.
No, it's gonna be a live action till
Yeah, it's gonna be
2026. So this is the dude's gonna be playing He-Man. Wherever
The day I held aloft my magical sword and said,
I have the power.
I have the power.
But this Battle Cat was always cool because the fact that he had gear
Yeah.
of a cat on him was pretty sick.
Yeah, he's got the gear.
This is very damn good.
I'm shocked
This is
that I still
original.
have
Remember,
the
he
gear.
would like shrink down into something else.
Into a kitty cat.
Yeah.
Who was that little dumbass that they always had in that Oracle?
Oracle. Yeah,
Never-
the
never
little,
liked
the little floaty guy.
He
Little
only
floaty-
came along
yeah.
when the TV show came out.
Yeah.
Yes,
He wasn't
with the-
in the original comic.
He was in
book.
the comic books. He was in the cartoon,
Yeah.
right?
And again,
Isn't
these
this the
comic books
first-
were this big.
And the girl was hot. Was her? She was fine. Was
Shira.
it? Is it Tila?
Tila. And then
Tila.
correct me if I'm wrong, but they built the toys to make the TV show, or was it
Yeah. What?
they
But-
built the toys to promote the TV show? It's something like that.
yeah,
I think so.
But it had to do with that comic book that
Because
was.
there's no story to it.
Well, that's what I love about like
still has his axe.
yeah, and he's still working. Like that's what I love about like 80s and 90s stuff. Like the toys were made, like everything was
Better.
geared towards selling toys to kids.
And
the
selling
shows were like- the
toys to
cartoons
kids
were
that
like
were going
soap
to play
operas.
with them.
Yeah.
Be rough with them.
But they
Yeah.
got the toys were so good because you interchange costumes, you interchange like the body parts were moving. Like I remember the '90s Power Rangers toys.
Oh, I had my son. So how old are you, if you don't mind me?
38.
So my son is 35.
Okay.
Around the same
Huge
age.
Power Ranger kid.
'Cause
He had
My-
the whole.
My cousin liked that stuff too a lot.
Yeah.
The head would
Zords.
flip over. Like you would
Yep.
have one that had like a normal teenager head. You press the button, it flipped over to the
Yep.
Power Ranger.
and
head.
they were Zords, and then they all connected to become the Megazord,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like vehicles
Yeah.
or something.
I just watched the documentary about the Power Rangers, and like there's kind of a curse to it, and all the guys, all the people that played the Red Rangers,
That's
all
your
had-
ass? That's
all
your
had
ass?
issues, huh?
They
Yeah,
had
Yeah,
that
right. It was all Red
Oh, man.
Rangers.
Well,
Red
one of them's in prison for killing somebody with a sword.
Yeah. That was the original Red Ranger. I
One of
believe,
them's in
or the
prison
second
for
Red Ranger.
fraud.
So who wear the red outfits? What you telling
And
us?
then Tommy, who was the Red Ranger, the Green Ranger, the Black Ranger, him and his brother both.
Okay,
yeah.
so now that
Was
you
it
know,
Morphin Time?
I hope you guys know that it was just announced the Star Wars celebration, the 50th anniversary, will be here in Los Angeles in 2027.
What day?
April 3rd through the 7th, I believe.
Not
And
May the 4th.
I will be there every single day.
I wonder-
Because it's going to be to me, it's going to be the biggest hoopla
First time
out
ever.
here. People are talking about the Olympics
Yeah.
and the World Cup. I don't care about that shit. I'm going to this.
First
Star
time I
Wars
went to one
celebration,
of those,
50 years.
My brother had an extra ticket to one, and he brought me.
The Anaheim one.
The Anaheim one. It was pretty.
Some years
It was
ago.
pretty amazing.
You mean a couple years ago?
And it's
no,
funny
no,
because
not that one. Before.
I didn't. Oh, the one before that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very jealous. That's really cool.
It was amazing. I didn't know that. I didn't know what a Mandalorian was. All I knew was Boba Fett. See, my brother knew all that.
Yeah.
And I remember we were in the main hall, and all these Mandalorians were coming down the escalator.
Mhm.
And I
We're
go,
trying to find each other. And
And
he
I
calls
go-
me on the phone. I'm like, where are you at? And he goes, I'm over here. And there's a grip of Boba Fett's coming down the steps, man.
They're all different looking.
Now, are you guys happy? I'm very happy with this direction Star Wars is going in now, as far as these
Andor's
these shows.
awesome.
We watch all this stuff. So I'm starting to watch Andor now, but we love the Mandalorian. We love all that stuff. So I'm just happy that Star Wars is in a good place now.
You know, I was thinking about it because what they're doing is they're honoring us. They're honoring
I think so,
us
too.
that we're kids when it
You
came
want to
out.
know why? Because I feel guys like
Well, it's very adult themed.
and then what's his name is behind it too. The guy that what's that guy's
He did
name?
the Marvel movies?
Favreau. and
Favreau,
all-
yeah.
all
Are we
those
talking
guys.
about specifically Andor? Or?
No, not just just all those Star Wars stuff.
Andor's
Andor's pretty nice.
I love Skeleton Crew. The kid.
we like that too. We
Skeleton
like that too.
Crew is like they took Goonies
Yeah.
and
Star Wars.
Star Wars and
And
Raiders
rap
of the
like
Lost
that,
Ark
yeah.
and put it all in.
And we
one.
just started watching Tales of the Underground. I believe is that what it's called? Tales of the cartoon with Cad Bane. It just came out, so be
Oh,
on the lookout for that,
Cad Bane
viewers.
is dope.
Yeah,
So
but I
that
think
just
they're
came out.
honoring us because the themes are very adult. Like I was watching Andor, going, "This ain't for kids. This is
No, it's
this is an
PG-13.
adult sci-fi
Yeah, no,
soap
it's
opera."
legit. It's legit. It's
Yeah.
legit.
But that's what I like about the positioning of Star Wars right now.
Mhm.
Because you're getting away from the Jedis and just getting into the battle against.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool. And as far as Latinos, it's opening up doors for
Yeah.
now we're in outer space. Thank goodness, because for a while we just had a couple,
And
and now we have.
we're from the Juarez
System.
We're from the Juarez
Well,
system.
the Juarez system homes. But we want to
It's the
thank.
system that
We want to really thank you guys for coming in now.
Oh, this
now,
is
Jason,
so fun.
No, anytime. So, Jason, I know you're busy. Can you let our viewers know where you're going to be at next?
That run that we did. I'm doing that run again.
Okay.
May 22nd through the 25th. I'm gonna be in Laughlin at the what is it? The
The Dawn
Silver Bullet?
Don
Resort.
Laughlin Resort.
So be on the lookout. And where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram at Jason Collings. I am on TikTok at the same thing.
Okay.
I am comedian Jason Collings on Facebook, and of course, my YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel, search comedian Jason Collings. Also on
You guys heard,
or
like,
Mr. J.
subscribe, and all that good stuff. And
Yeah.
where are you going to be at next, Johnny?
Be at the Comedy Store June 6th. Come out, get some tickets. It's gonna be Funkin' Funny Fridays.
I'm going to be on that show as well as Edwin San Juan. And then
What room are you guys in?
we're in
Belly
the belly room, but it's gonna be fun, man. It's the first one.
Oh,
It's gonna be
it
fire.
rocks.
And then, other than that, you guys, I will be at CAPS next weekend, May 16th and 17th in Northern California in Brentwood. Look on the link in my bio; it's on there. We want to thank you guys for coming to our another awesome
Where's Dave
episode.
gonna be?
And David, tell us where you're gonna be, because we
I'll
know you're not
be-
funny, but we love you.
I'm happy being the guy behind the guy. I'm helping him
That
quite a
sounded
bit.
so good.
Well,
So good.
on behalf of the Collins brothers,
Yes, sir.
muchas gracias. This has been another awesome episode of Collector Strikes Back. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.